how to do that.
You're listening to the home of cool, irreverent, and entertaining talk. Right here on LA Talk Radio. You're listening to Question Reality. Question Reality. With Priscilla Leona. Priscilla Leona. Only on LA Talk Radio.
Hi, welcome to Question Reality. I'm your host, Priscilla Leona, and we are coming to you live from the beautiful Studio City in California. And you can listen to our show every Sunday from 5 p.m. to 5:50 p.m., just in case you haven't heard of us before. And if this is your first time tuning in, our show is all about fun, informative entertainment, and it's done in an upbeat improv style. So nothing's scripted, everything is total improv here, so you could just hear about anything. And we'll provide you with tips and advice and resource information on how you can pursue a career in show business, no matter where you are, what career you have. If you want to be in LA or Hollywood and be a star, this is the show you want to hear. And our guest, they're basically people that have worked in various professions in the entertainment industry. So that means that we will definitely have someone from a career that you're interested in hearing about sooner or later, hopefully sooner. And if you want to know who will be on our show in the future, you can always visit our official website, which is questionreality.us, not .com. You can go there and it talks about all the upcoming guests. And if you want to read their bios, their websites are on there. You can also listen and download any of our shows that you've missed by going to the LA Talk Radio website. And you can hit play or you can hit download, and you can download the show right to your computer for sometime in the near future if you can't listen right away. They're on the archive page, so you can peruse them at your own leisure. And we would love for you to call in and ask any questions of our guest. Feel free to call in between 5:15 and 5:30. You do not go through a receptionist or anyone. When you call in, you talk directly to us. You don't have to go through a screening process. And the call-in number should be right in front of you if you're listening live, but just in case you're not and you want to jot it down for someone else, it's area code 323-203-0815. And if you liked our show, you liked our guest, you found it was informative, it helped you, we would love to hear about it. Send us an email. The email address is info at questionreality.us. Again, info at questionreality.us. And we have a fantastic guest for you today. We would usually do our spotlights of people, but we've got so much to talk about today that I am going to have to bypass the spotlight and go directly to our guest. He is fantastic. Everyone's been emailing saying, oh, is he really coming on? Is he really coming on? Yes, he is. I wish he was live, but unfortunately, he's a party animal, so he's attending one of his many soirees in Palm Springs right now. So we have him via phone. He is the incomparable Stuart Stone, casting director, author, acting coach, community volunteer, and lover and shining knight in armor to the elderly and underprivileged. He is just so helpful in the community. Everybody loves him, and you will too. Now, let me give you a little bit of information on him. He, again, a casting director, published author, acting coach, again, community volunteer, but he's probably best known for his CLIO and EMMY award-winning campaigns. And since the inception of Stuart Stone Casting, which is his company, Stuart Stone has cast hundreds of domestic and worldwide television commercials, as well as numerous other media projects. And he's built a great reputation. He has drive, he has creativity, passion, and innovation. And that's why they call Stuart Stone when they want to cast for commercial, TV, print, scripted, non-scripted, industrial, promo, music video. You name it, they call him worldwide. Stuart Stone is the man. So some of his clients, I mean, all of his clients are huge, but just a couple of them. Gillette, Chrysler, Honda, Heineken, Doritos, one of my favorite snacks, Fruit of the Loom, Arco, Sony PlayStation, Pringles, Macy's, Lysol, Kentucky Fried Chicken, another favorite, Visa, Kodak, Nike. It goes on and on and on. The list is just endless, and you can check out the rest of these clients on stonecasting.tv. Again, STONECASTING.TV, and you'll get a complete list. And you can read all about Stuart. He has workshops, he has acting classes, he does private classes. There is nothing Stuart doesn't do except make me breakfast on a Sunday morning. No, I'm not getting breakfast from Stuart. But we are getting him on a Sunday, and we're going to have him at least for dinner because it's 5 o'clock. Welcome, Stuart Stone from Stuart Stone Casting.
Thank you. I hope I can live up to all that.
Well, I hope so, too. It's a pretty big plug, huh?
Oh, that was a long one and a big one.
And I did it all in one breath.
I know.
Hot damn.
I saw that. You have a lot of energy.
I do, but that's because I'm all pumped up on sugar, and it shouldn't be that way, Stuart Stone. It shouldn't be that way, damn it.
I wish I was there. We'd be eating chocolate together.
I know. I just finished off a Snicker to get me in the mood for when you were coming on. Hey, now,
that's great.
Now, Stuart, now I know that we got a lot to talk about, so I just want to, hopefully we can get it all in, but if I don't mention something, please feel free to bring it up and break in. Now, you started out as an actor, but you soon realized that your true calling was commercial casting. Can I ask you, what made you realize that you were more suited as a commercial casting director? And I ask that because you're really hot looking, you got a great voice, a great personality, and you probably would have been an awesome actor. What made you...
I love you. Keep going.
What made you not give us the pleasure of seeing you as Dr. Love on a soap opera?
Dr. Love. Probably at that time there wasn't as much TV as there is now. One of the things. The other thing is I had done some commercials and decided basically... I just got tired of sitting on the sets and eating all the junk food. I mean, my favorite thing was the craft food service. And... I mean, literally, one night I was called to set at, 9 in the morning, and by the time they got to me, it was great because overtime pay and everything was great, but I didn't shoot my scene till 11, I was the last scene. So imagine going up and down on sugar trying to stay awake, and I just like, you know what, this is just a lot of work. And have to pull the energy up and do all this thing at the very last minute.
Right.
And I thought, you know what, I think I'm going to college. So I packed my bags, headed off to college, and when I returned, it was... a couple friends of mine in the business, and they said, what are you going to do? And I was actually still, I had done some, was going to continue on with the commercial stuff. And I just, after a couple, commercials, I was like, I just, the fun was in running around in Hollywood and running to auditions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little spoiled. I was like, just hand me a job, but that doesn't happen.
No.
Very rarely does that happen.
Not unless you're hitting that casting couch hot and hard.
Exactly. But, there are those one-hit wonders that book something, and, we love that. But, you really do need to study. You really do need to learn your craft, especially with the competition that's out there now. And, I had taken so many classes and worked, and I just fell in love with casting, and I love the ability to help people reach their dream. It just was really awesome when I started assisting in casting while I was still working, trying to become an actor.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a lot of friends at the time that I knew that were casting directors. I worked in almost every casting office in L.A. At one point as an assistant because I had known these people. So it was pretty cool. It was fun. I had a great time, and it was more and more fun. And I started enjoying that more than running around and going on auditions.
Right. So it was a combination of the sugar high and gas prices, right?
And casting, yeah, it was actually. And, and my clients, when I started casting, were putting me in the commercials, and my friends and stuff that were the same age were like, well, why go to Stuart's audition? He's just going to book it.
Yeah!
And that was happening, and I was like, I just, it had to be one or the other. It just wasn't.
It wasn't.
It was one or the other, and I felt it was fair, and I really, I found my true calling and my true passion.
Well, with your personality, it was only obvious that you should have gone into that. Now, let me ask you, after years of learning your trade with some of the best in the business, you started your own casting company, Stuart Stone Casting. And obviously, you've cast hundreds of television commercials. You've booked thousands of actors. And I think you've been casting now over 12 years. So let me ask you, do you still feel the same zest and excitement for each project?
Oh, yeah, or more sometimes. I love the challenge. I mean, when I started, the casting directors would call me in and soon realized that I had, what they said was an eye for casting, and I was like, I didn't know what they meant because I got it from a gut feeling. I got it from when someone sends me a project, I see the overall big picture. I kind of get a sense of it in my mind. I talk to the director. I get a sense of what they want from the adjectives they throw me.
Right.
And I kind of go with it. And, you paint the sides a little bit with different looks, slightly aged different. But, I love the passion. I love searching, and I soon became recognized for being able to go out and find whatever they were looking for, such as real people. And this was before reality, so we called them real people, people off the streets. Testimonials, I'd go into corporations and interview people for, their actual products that they're using. People that work for the companies, such as IBM at the time and things like that. I'd go into all the companies, and so that was really fun. And so I became known for going and traveling, and I'd worked in the Caribbean on jobs for Coors, and we would do stuff out there. So it was traveling and doing a lot of stuff. And then the budgets were much bigger budgets. And I was traveling across the country,
right, now,
looking for people.
You obviously, you are stating that you still love your job. I want to know, what do you think is the secret? How do you keep the love of casting after you've been doing it so many years? Because I tell you, as an actor, you go into some of the casting people, and they look like they are on their last damn leg. And this is like 9 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, and they just look like they've had it. They're just beat up. They're beat to hell. They're toe up from the flow up.
And they're still casting, and that's why I always wonder. It always makes me wonder why a director, they must be getting something out of it.
Yeah.
As I cast, I'm in my session, or I'm so anal. I have a monitor in my office to see what's going on, and I'm listening at the same time if I'm ever called out. Because I'm completely hands-on. My casting, a lot of people have assistants, and they're doing 3 and 4 jobs a day. All you're doing is, as a producer, I don't understand. As a director, I understand. I don't understand that point, because if I was a director, I want my casting director to be like me, and that's how I service my clients. I'm not a factory. I'm hands-on. If I were to be doing 1 or more jobs, I've got 1 or more job monitors. I'm watching the monitors. I'm listening to what's going on. I'm pacing it out, so I'm in the room with my client, with each actor.
Right. Stuart, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you have a call. I'm so sorry. Somebody wants to talk to you.
Someone's calling for me?
Yes. Hi, caller. You are on the air with Stuart Stone from Stuart Stone Casting. Hello? Hello?
We used to have a caller.
But the caller is no more, and you were on a roll, so I hope you can pick it up where you left off, because that was sounding
Well, I can. It's just, because every project to me is new. I love the new talent. I love new faces. I love discovering new talent. I wish I was the agent that could book the talent and say you're booked.
Yeah.
But I do, like I said, I still travel around the country to teach or to look at talent, or different schools around the country will call me and ask if I'll come do seminars and stuff and help the actors there, learn how to, I will even give up my lunches and do what I call consultations or career coaching, to sit with someone for an hour. And, all of that is on actonset.com, ACTONSET.com. And, in order to weed out everybody, of course, someone made a suggestion. You've got to charge, because otherwise you're going to have everyone knocking at your door to walk in free.
That's true.
So I ended up doing that, and it's just nominal, but it does say, I said, how can I give back and save them money? And I have great photographers. They're even on my website that are, inexpensive and some of the best in the business that I think that work and know exactly what to get for commercials. And even theatrical, and they've been around forever, some of them, and they're great.
Well, let me ask you, Stuart, now, you've been in this business for a long time. Let me ask you, what major changes have you seen in the world of commercial casting since you started that many of our audience members might not know about, and that you feel an actor should definitely know and consider a priority?
Well, here's some interesting tips. If the number one site to be on, of course, is LA Casting for commercials. It's growing and growing more for theatrical, and the other one is Actors Access for theatrical.
Right.
Pretty much anything after that, I consider a waste of money to most people, because either I don't know about them, and that company hasn't come to me to introduce themselves to me. Mm-hmm. The other thing is, now with the source of LA Casting and all this computer stuff, actors can be tagged for not showing up, not responding. If you submit yourself, actors don't remember what they submitted for. They're not keeping notes. So right away, if I call an actor and I give them an audition, and they're on LA Casting, said, "What job is this?" or "What was it for? What time? Where is that?" It's like unprofessional, and immediately, sometimes I will bring them in, and I can note what their response was on the telephone and what they said, and I can then get a second shot at them to see if that's somebody who's going to be reliable to show up on set, or are they just completely lost in the business. Mm-hmm. I also see a lot of people sending emails asking for representation, and right away that signals to me they're emailing me for representation, unaware that a casting director does not represent, an agent represents. Mm-hmm. We buy from an agent, so they're submitting themselves wrong. So immediately it tells me that they're green and they really need to go back to step one, mm-hmm. way at the beginning. So I'm not going to be able to see them because they don't even get what the business is about. So you got to really be careful, because there's so many people that I've noticed more and more casting directors. We will select so many people through LA Casting, but we can only see a few. So let's say an agent submits, if you're, let's say 18 to 22, and male or female, whatever, I'll see about 15 to 1,800 submissions come through. Now, when I pick up the ones that I like and that fit what I'm looking for, I can end up with a selection of 100, but I can only see 40. Mm-hmm. And some of the casters I talk to, it becomes at that point, instead of not looking what you want, it's what you don't want. Mm. So what is that? So I start looking at resumes. Or how trained are they? So I start picking the ones with the better trained resumes, because I can only see 30 to 40 a day, depending on how the audition's going to run. So it's very important to, have your resume up to date, and have a commercial workshop, have some improv class. You want to try and beat out your competition, and it's got to be a class. If you're taking classes, most important, it's not from another actor. I don't feel another actor they can teach you some stuff about the business, but only actor to actor. You really want to go with a casting director or a session operator, people that are running the sessions that are in there with the casting director and the director and clients during callbacks to know what they're looking for. Because then they're in the room knowing what's immediate and what is the changes in the industry and what's going on. People that aren't currently casting great projects, and you need to find out what they're casting, mm-hmm. then you shouldn't really... You can use them, and I say go to them, but be careful. And and a lot of them charge a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm sorry. When you are on the other end, and someone has submitted for a project through LA Casting, and you're using that, what comes to you on that end? A lot of people say, "I wonder what they see. Do they see our picture first? Do they see our resume? What do you see?"
We see a little thumbnail print and probably about 100 to a page.
Okay.
Or you can do it 50 to a page. It just depends how the casting director wants to see them.
What's going to stand out for you out of 1,500 submissions?
I like just a very basic headshot with great energy. Mm-hmm. You got to look around and find your market. You got to know what your market is. And like I said, back in consultations, those are the kind of things that people have to do the research. They've got to go to get out there. And whether it's a free event that LA Casting puts on with a casting director or an agent or something, you can learn. You've got to learn to know who you are and sell yourself the way you are. And a lot of people have hats on. We don't know if they have hair. The photographers crop their heads so it's the lines at their forehead. And we wonder if they're covering up being bald.
I hate that.
Hands in their face. Are you trying to look like a TNA girl, like a Playboy model? Oh. And they sell themselves that way, and then they tell me they want to be taken seriously, and I'm like, by that picture?
Oh my!
So they're mismarketing themselves.
Yeah, people have a really hard time finding their brand, is what I like to call it, their brand.
Exactly, they do. So it's really the people that have the brand, they have the talent, they have everything with them. And the other thing I was going to mention is, in LA Casting, we now have the ability to write comments that we can keep on our site. So if someone gives us a hard time, someone's a bad actor, someone, whatever they did bad, unfortunately we call it bad, or they gave us, shade, we can mark it and, come back to that person was really rude or disrespectful. And so with all the actors out there, it's better to be on time,
right.
Talk to the people, become,
How do you feel about as a person? Say you're casting for a character. I'm sorry if we're overlapping and I'm cutting you off. It just is weird over
That's
here.
okay.
How do you feel as a person? You have a specific part that you're looking for, and the person comes in dressed for the part. Do you feel that that's an advantage, or does it matter at all?
No, it's a definite advantage. There was a time, go back 20 years ago, and it's just so much has changed in the time, but everyone would come in character or whatever they wore, and they would remember what they wore and came back to callbacks that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone just got more lax, and there was more and more casting directors who were coming into the market and, assisting for, I call them the instant casting directors because they assisted for a short time and didn't master the laws and stuff and the rules and SAG rules and stuff. And so they made their way, and and it's great because it gave some more competition. And like you said before, some people on their last leg. It's like amazing that a producer would let their craft be affected by it because they're going to create something, that's major. And casting is a very big part of that.
It is.
And so it's very important that you show back up now in what you wore before, because we don't take Polaroids anymore. It's the original shot that we took when you came in the first time. We see you, and then you came back again. And now we've slowly gotten out of Polaroids again, and now they're using barcodes and stuff.
I know. Now, that's exactly what my next question is. A lot of people have been coming to me saying, have you heard about the new thing where you get a barcode when you come into a casting office? And I said, yeah, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mean to cut you off, but there's two companies, LA Casting, and you really don't need a barcode because you're on that system.
Right.
And then there's the other company, and they're requiring a barcode. I have issues with the second company. I think LA Casting is the only one that I would trust and trust with my information as an actor, because your information's already there and it's blocked and secured. And you're being forced by other casting directors to use this service, which they may like. It may work easier for them, and it's great to have competition, and it's fine. I've seen both of them. I like, my favorite, of course, is LA Casting. I stand by LA Casting. I try, tried the other one. I try them all, but it's always stood out for me that I've had no problems with LA Casting, and I don't have to worry about my information being stolen or anything like that from another company.
Now, for those people
who haven't secured their information, they haven't proven to me their information is secure.
Okay. Now, for those people who don't know what we're talking about, we're speaking mostly about commercial casting. I do not believe, to the best of my knowledge, that this is in the world of just regular theatrical. I believe this is just commercial. Am I correct?
Some theatrical will use it because then what happens is this gets uploaded to the internet. So all your information and your pictures are then kept in here. So some theatrical are doing it because they're sending if you're doing a read, some of the more savvy, newer casting directors that are using this they're primarily using LA Casting service, and you won't need a barcode.
Okay.
So if it is, the barcode is already implanted in there for you, but it's not a barcode system. So they're not, I don't know any theatrical per se, and I don't know everybody, but I don't know who would be using the other service.
What if you got a call from your agent and God knows how he finds the part. I know they do Breakdown Express and all this other stuff. If you get a call from an agent and you go into an audition, if they use a barcode and you don't have a barcode, will they make you fill something out? Well,
that's the thing. You put all your information in there to get a barcode. So you have to show up, and for me it slows down the process because everyone has to stand out in line and enter their information, that if it's not there, and try and find themselves. But it's not secure, and I don't think any actor should put any information except their agent's information in there.
I agree.
And maybe a cell number for emergency contact. Let's say they leave and there was a problem, or they want to get to them right away and they can't reach the agent. So a contact number, but that would be about it, that I would put in any other system.
I agree. Now, Stuart, let me interject with something. We lost that caller because apparently their number was blocked. So if anyone wants to talk to Stuart, you have to unblock your number, and I think you do that by pound 82 or 72 or 83, pound 82. I'm not sure, but if you call with a blocked number, you will not be allowed to talk to the great Stuart Stone.
I thought it was pound 3.
It's no, I think it's pound 7 too, but I'm not sure. I'm sure they know. Now, Stuart, let's talk a little bit about casting for new media. And by new media for the audience, that means webisodes, mobisodes, etc. Now, is it the same casting process for the actor as it would be for any other audition for a commercial, film, or television project?
Well, it would be different than a commercial. It would be more of a theatrical.
Okay.
It would be more of a theatrical type of an audition. But the other thing is, it's all changing now, and we're waiting if the strike happens or not, and everyone's wondering at this point if there'll be a strike, and we have to see what's going to happen because a lot of stuff is not with the union's jurisdiction right now. So we could do a webisode, and you can have actors do webisodes, and that's maybe where some shows start getting picked up.
Yeah.
Where people can turn on a webisode with some of their favorite actors.
Now, a lot of people because this is an international radio show, a lot of people, believe it or not, do not know what webisodes and mobisodes are. I could explain it, but I think the expert, can you just briefly touch on this, the difference between a webisode and a mobisode?
Mobisode I'm new to, but webisode is basically in a nutshell, it's your TV show on the web.
Right.
So you'll be able to dial into a station on the web and play it. And eventually, if you can plug up to your TV, we'll all be able to plug into the TV and play it on your TV. Or if your TV has a computer in it, you can be able to play these shows and pick them up anywhere and any time.
And the mobisodes are what's played on your cell phone, on your mobile.
Right, on the cell phone. So you can transmit to your cell phone. But
Stuart, we have a call. I'm so sorry. We got another call. We'll try it again. Okay, I'm sorry. You are on the line with Stuart Stone.
Hi, my name is Tracy Weisert.
Hi, Tracy. Thank you for calling.
Well, I'd like to ask my old buddy Stuart if he has noticed a trend with the budgets for the advertisers this year. What is the talk amongst he and his fellow casting directors there at the studio about what is in future for all of us?
Hi, Tracy.
Hi, Doc.
So say that again because I wasn't clear what you were asking. I'm sorry, it broke up a little bit for me.
Just wondering, the talk of all you professionals over there amongst you, how are the advertisers' budgets? I mean, are we still, looking to a good year for commercials?
Okay, I think the budgets are a lot smaller. I see a lot of stuff going non-union. If I were to try and be psychic, I would say, which I'm definitely not, but I see a lot of stuff going non-union. I talk to a lot of actors about going financial core. Financial core is able to work union and non-union, but you lose a lot of stuff. You're threatened by the union. They try to threaten you not to do it, but you lose the right to vote. You lose the right to go see free movies, I think, but you do have the right to work, and they can't throw you out of the union. And then they say it's going to be a hard time to get back in the union, but you can get back in the union. But you can look financial core up on the internet, but try to look at it when it's not dictated by SAG and what the other people said about it and the people who've created it and started it years ago. That everyone has the right to work, and the union can't stop you. But I see a lot of people going on a union job, and then the union job ends up going onto the internet so that you get paid your $1,300, and I think that's going to end up having to be increased.
Are you guys working over there and stuff, and clients are still throwing you jobs?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, no, there's jobs out there. There's not as many as there used to be. There's more casting directors, but there's not as many jobs. There's just a group core of us that are, and some not. So, sometimes it's, we're not having the same months we used to. It's very different. The consistency of work is very different for everybody. I mean, everyone I talk to, but it's going to be different. I think that we have to decide where the advertisers are going to advertise and where they're going to get a bang for their buck.
Right.
Does that answer?
And a lot more print is going on. People are doing commercial print, which we call commercial print now. They're just sending actors out because they have more personality than a stiff model. But some people, a stiff model, I call them stiff because they're beauty models. They know how to do that, but they really don't know how to become alive like an actor. And a lot of them are learning so they can cross over.
Right.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of commercial print.
All right. Does that
Thank
answer
you,
your
Stuart.
question, Tracy? Thank you so much.
Have a really good 2009, and I'll see you soon.
You too. Talk to you soon, Tracy. Thanks for calling in.
Okay,
Thank
hon.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, so we got so much to cover. My goodness, Stuart. Okay, so back to this new media, and we're going to get to that FICOR thing. I got that on the list, honey. I got a list over here. We got
FICOR. We got to talk about actor promotion. By the end of the show, you guys, just so you know, Tracy, I don't want to forget because I do have something I want to tell them about the best way to market themselves.
Honey,
right now.
I got it all down. I am extremely detail-oriented here. I would get on your damn nerves. I'm so detail-oriented. Okay, so basically, just to end the webisode, mobisode thing, I had an email question. Do they cast non-union actors for the webisodes, mobisodes, and if so, what are the differences between being a non-union actor on a project and a union actor contract-wise?
Okay, well, non-union, you don't have any guaranteed rates. You can work, it's dependent on whatever they want to pay you.
Okay.
As a non-union, we can pay you whatever we want.
Okay.
I can say I'm doing a webisode, and right now webisodes are so new, clients don't even know how much money, they don't know what their return on investment is.
Right.
So until the show airs and they can see what it is, some are starting out very lean, giving maybe $25,000, and saying, let's see after 3 shows what you turn around and what the numbers are.
All right.
And if it picks up. Now, some people will hire non-union people for that. There's also that's one side to go non-union, produce it very cheaply because some actors will work for $100 a day.
Right.
But then you might want to have names and get a draw to your webisode. You may want to see if you can get a celebrity, and that kind of webisode would go union.
Right. Now,
and we would shoot that union, and union doesn't have a jurisdiction over, per se, how much you get paid right now, and that's part of the argument in the contract.
It's a huge, huge thing. They're just throwing punches right and left. Bras are flying all over the place over there. Testosterone galore. Now, question for you. How would an actor, with this new webisode and mobisode, a question came up, how would an actor get copy of their work from these webisodes or mobisodes? You know how they usually get copies? They just TiVo it or the VCR.
You can TiVo it a lot of. Usually with your producer and director, they'll send you an episode on a DVD.
With the mobisodes, though, with the telephone thing,
Well, it's still advertising. So if you're on wherever you're at, whoever produced it. Can always send you a copy of it. It's a lot easier now because sometimes they can just even email you the copy because the file's small enough.
Okay. So it's cool to ask them for it. It's all right to ask them. It's not, considered a wrong thing to ask, hey, can I have a copy of my work?
Oh, no, especially if you're doing it. A lot of people want that for their reels, especially if it's a great company doing it that has good cameras and it's well done. It's not a student film or a student's trying to learn how to do them. Sometimes the lighting's all out of whack, and they're students, they're learning, so that's what you're going to get. And you don't want to ever really put that up against someone who's got legitimate work,
right?
Because if you go out there going, great, I have a reel and I did some student film and I got a great reel, and then I pick up that reel and I watch that reel, and then the next I pick up is someone who's done actual TV work, you're going to see the difference in the quality.
Right.
So immediately your reel, the one I just saw, if I liked them, I may put it back in to go, let me check again. Yeah, they're not up to the speed, and they'd go in the out pile, compared to what stays in there. You really, right now, really mastering your craft, having a lot of, and you feel, well, how do I get credits and stuff like that? And credits aren't about going out and doing extra work and student films and stuff to build a reel. You don't always need a reel. We know you've got to start somewhere. Webisodes will be a good area. In non-union commercials are a great area. And how do you find out about them? LA Casting, Actors Access, they all have areas for their members to go to where we can post commercials and stuff that may be non-union, that aren't, but are being, because we all have, a lot of the casting directors here, if you're going to find it from someone like myself or some of my other people out there that are like me that cast, and we will probably have great directors that are trying something new.
But a question for you. If a person doesn't have, how can a person get cast for something or even brought in if they don't have anything on their resume? Most actors really rely on the student films and the graduate films to get some sort of credit, not only on the resume, but also to put on a demo reel. How do you...
Honestly, that's what makes it tough in today's market.
Yeah.
It's being with the right coaches, knowing the right coaches, knowing the right schools to go to. It's the people, it's the people that are doing their homework. They're, they don't take for granted they know it all. Some people are like, well, I'm not going to go to that free seminar. It's interesting. I did a seminar, and they usually get between 100 to 300 people for LA casting. We did a seminar, and I think there was, they guesstimated, I think there was about 250 there. I mean, there was room for 50 more people, but so what? There were still 60,000 more actors that didn't show up, that for whatever reason didn't show up, and 20,000 I just wrote off because of an emergency, or they don't live in the area, or they didn't want to drive in from San Diego, which is understandable because there's about 80,000 people on there.
Right.
So where were these other people, and why aren't they knocking the doors down to get in front of a casting director or ask them,
right,
or get their face out in front of them? And the ones that were there are memorable.
Right. Question for you. I have a question. This is a personal question. A lot of people keep saying, well, I hear this a lot. I go to a lot of casting director workshops, and I've heard casting directors, they're kind of split on this. I wanted to get your opinion on Actors Access. They have a service. I don't know if it's immediately tied to their company. It could be a third party, but they have a service where you can pay, I believe it's $150, and if you don't have any prior material, you can actually slate in front of them, and basically they ask you questions, and you kind of just tell them who you are. Now, a lot of casting directors have said, I don't want to, don't put that on your website as a reel. I don't give a crap who you are, what you have for breakfast, and what your dog's name is. I want to see actual footage. But yet they are selling these services.
That's a money scam to me.
I think so too. But a lot of people are doing it, and a couple people say, "Well,
they don't know and they don't show up." I was doing a seminar, and it kind of hit me. You have to be, there's stars, and in order to have stars, we have to have those at the bottom.
Right.
So there's a world out there, just like the survival of the fittest. You have to have bottom feeders in order to make stars. You have to have extras, people who work as extras, so that we can have stars.
Right.
You have to have everything, and those people are running after the dream, not knowing where to go to. Instead of, they're spending that money to go create something that's a waste of time and a waste of money, rather than meeting with a casting director, asking the questions, going to free seminars, or even a $50, $25, $20 paid seminar.
Right.
To find out the real answers and ask the questions before they make these moves. Come in with your list of questions. What site should I be on?
Right.
What should I pay for? Do you know any great photographers that aren't super expensive? Is more than $400 too much for pictures? Yes, sure it is.
Yeah.
Those people that are paying more than $400 because they think money equals quality. No, it actually, with some of them, it's the opposite.
I know.
If you're paying more than $400, you're getting ripped off. And I can see it out there. You ask what kind of pictures? The ones that aren't those portrait pictures that those other people are taking, charging more than $400.
Those glamour shots done at the mall. I've seen those too.
Well, glamour shots are a guy paying $400 who everyone thinks was the hot guy because he knows how to talk people into almost $1,000 work. There's teams of people. There's a man-woman team. There's a man-man team. There's a team of 20. There's, whatever it is, the glamour shots. There's all of them out there charging upwards of $500 and more for pictures. And they're not, you don't need to do that. You really don't. There's ways to save money. And so people will make some mistakes. They'll continue to make mistakes. I hear parents who get involved in paying thousands of dollars for kids to be in the business.
I know.
But not realizing that you don't need to go and do all that.
I think that, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think a lot of it comes from word of mouth, referrals, looking at them yourself, and then asking, if you don't have an agent or you don't know a casting director, go to one of the casting director workshop and say, can you look at this picture? Do you think this is a good picture? Blah, 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 blah. Or ask them to recommend. So that's what I recommend to people. Now,
if the casting director is taking their time to be there, they're there to help you. They're making an interest. And those of us that are always out there trying to help and give back, it's because we want to help you because we want to find the new face. I want to find the new face. I don't know what they want to do. I know I want to find new faces. I want to help new people. I want to find new faces.
And your eyes are actually going to be open when you're looking too, right?
I'm there. They're there. It's funny because Tracy, who just called in, and I don't know how she finds me, but she does, and she's very plugged into her business.
What does she do, Tracy?
She's an actress.
Oh, okay.
But she saw me in a class. She's had me. She helps run the LA casting. Actually, it's funny. She runs the LA casting events with the
cool.
casting directors and stuff that show up, but I had no idea she was going to be on the air. But it's funny, she seems to show up. She's always got great energy. She's got great questions. She puts herself out there, and you know, she's not the atypical lady that you'd expect to see. We've had to, I mean, actually I spent time with her. I actually had an argument with her in her class once because I fought with her how to do something. But she, after the end, and it was a friendly fight. I think if she was on the air, she would say it was friendly. But I think it helped her, and I think she turned, if I'm not mistaken, maybe you're listening, Trace, call in and tell me if I'm wrong, but I think she booked a job just after that, within days.
Ooh, well,
and I think she wrote me a sweet card because she finally got it, because the casting director she was taking from wasn't a casting director that was teaching current information. It was having students teach for her, and she was relying on her past. Great. It helps me. I can't teach everybody. She was learning some stuff, but she was stuck, and it was once I was able to help her, and she had the basic understanding, so it was I could go right to the situation with her and what was going on. And that's why I said, you know, take from a couple people. You may take from another actor. You may take from another casting director who's not so savvy. You'll come across us. You'll take from us, and you may not like some of the stuff we do. You know, we may be too direct and, you know, get you going, and, you know, we don't do the classic clap your hands after everyone does their thing, and, you know, we don't have a standard 2-hour class. It's when you're done with your stuff.
Right.
What you've learned. You don't have just 5 minutes up there in front of the camera. It's till you get what you know, till you get the technique we're teaching. I don't have anyone teach that's not experienced or been in the business for at least 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
And been behind the camera and running casting sessions. That's why Doug Trayer works with me, and we do this. I can rely on him. I've sat in his classes. I got sick. He took over for me. The kids started booking commercials just like with me, so it was able to help me see more people and have more classes.
Stuart,
Yep.
I'm sorry. I think we got another call. Hold on a minute. Albert, did you get him?
No, I said remind people.
Oh, okay. Oh, remind people again. Oh, to unblock your number, it's star 82. Star 82. We had a call, but it's gone. I guess you had your number blocked and you were gone. Oh, now we have another call. Now, keep in mind, we only have 10 minutes, and I got a ton of questions to ask Stuart. So if we could keep this brief, I'd really appreciate it. You are on the air with Stuart Stone.
If you'll just tell Stuart, this is Tracy Weisert again. It was a Super Bowl spot for Budweiser that Joe Pitka directed.
Tracy, see? So she got with Joe Pitka, which was one of the best, which was one of the hottest directors. Just, you know, one of the hottest directors. You know, there's several hot directors.
You just asked me to let you know what it was, and that's what it is. So
Thank you.
Thanks, Tracy.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
See, so, you know,
Okay.
it was like I was glad that I was able to help her and get past what she was, and she's just one of those people plugged in. She doesn't miss an opportunity, and that's why this lady works and got a chance to work with Joe Pitka.
Well, I just did I'm going to be on the Super Bowl Budweiser commercial too. I just work with Joe Pitka, so
And
I
you guys
will be...
have a similar look, believe it or not. I'll tell you what that is.
So she's hot. So she's hot too, just like me, right? Hey, Stuart, in this economy, we got like 9 minutes to go. Now, in this economy, a lot of actors in SAG, which is for people who don't know that, wherever you are, is a union for actors, and they're considering changing their status to financial core. A lot of actors have either heard of it or are confused how it works, or they've been told horror stories of when they change their status. They've had to face a nightmare getting back to regular SAG status. So basically, first, can you briefly explain what financial core is, and then what's your opinion of actors who go FI-Core, and should an actor who isn't making a lot of money a year as a SAG actor change their status to financial core, or just hang in there?
Really briefly.
Yeah.
Really briefly, I believe at this point in time in our economy that they go financial core.
Okay.
Financial core it gives them the right to work in union and non-union.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as far as I know, and I've ever worked, and you know, with all the non-union stuff going on, some of it pays really well, as much as upwards of $5,000 to $7,000 a cycle. A cycle is a 13-week paid period.
Mm-hmm.
So you're making, some commercials are only paying $500. Well, you may not want to go on those. But if you can make a couple $1,000s and you may not get overtime, you may work 10-hour days rather than, SAG stipulates how many hours and overtime, and it can cost a production a lot of money by shooting SAG. So to save money, they go non-union. I've noticed a lot of mainstream actors that do a lot of work are now financial core, and it's more and more surprising because they realize, wait, if I jump into if I go on a non-union audition, well, They are somewhat advanced. That's why they are in the union, because they've worked. They didn't earn their vouchers as extras. They didn't earn their vouchers by standing and picketing during the SAG strike. They actually work their craft, have strong resumes, and they knew that they could go in and hit the marks, and they were beating out the non-union people at the time. So now it became very competitive, and there's a lot of financial court people out there. Now, I don't know the SAG really tries to mess with the actors. They're not. If you look at financial court outside of what Screen Actors Guild posts, you have the right, and they should be obligated to bring you back in. They are a union, but you never really were out of the union. So getting back in, you're just trying to ask for your rights back. But who wants to go back in at this time and age? Just be able to work in both markets.
Well, that's a good answer. Thank you very much. I'm sure that they have a better understanding of that. Now, we are down to just 6 minutes. Oh, I've got so many questions. I don't know how I'm going to get it
Let's go into marketing really quick.
Well, yeah, let's talk about that. And then
really quick, I can do marketing really quick.
Yeah, let's do it.
Marketing. Everyone used to do 8x10s.
Yeah.
A lot of 8x10s didn't open up, and then people were trying to sell those 8x10s with the window so we would see the picture.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'd see a picture and not go in and read the cover letter. And the cover letter sometimes would say, I'm a friend of so-and-so, and it was, keep the cover letters brief, and, it would give you some information. And sometimes they would end up in the round file because for some reason they didn't like the picture. You didn't know that your picture wasn't a good picture. You thought it was. You never had it checked out. You never, asked other people that in the industry. To you thought it was the best that was taken. So what happens is, it ended up in the trash, and so an agent didn't see it. And there's a way to get to an agent if they didn't decide to open it up. So that's why I said never send to an agent or a casting director closed. And usually it's a waste to send it to a casting director closed. If you're seeking representation, always an 8x10. The next thing is it became interesting. Everyone started sending postcards. So more and more, thousands and thousands of postcards. They get shredded, destroyed, marked up through the mail. And then they try to do all sorts of different sizes so that your postcard gets seen. Great. They do work. They do work. And as I mentioned before, one of the new things, and I set this up so that I can give actors the opportunity to learn about a way that they can actually put their headshots on to an actual card on the Internet. It's a service that they could join, and they join it, and they earn. Whatever they join for, the rates. There's different ways to join, but it equals out in that the points you get and work able to send out actual cards, greeting cards where you design them on the Internet. Super easy, takes seconds, and they also have thousands for you to choose from. But it's called sendoutcards.com, and really important, the /3074. So sendoutcards.com.
I think it's 30174, Stuart.
Yeah, 30174. 30174 is really important because you'll see my picture and it'll say Stuart Stone. I've set it up so you can send out a free card, and you can learn how to. And the website's just brand new, redone. I think since you checked it out. Mm-hmm. Went live to a new site. It's awesome. You'll be talked through how to set up a card. There's frames. You can frame your card. You can do thousands of things, add bubbles to it, put on a feed. If you're doing a play, you can send it out. But it actually will be a card, glossy card sent on recycled paper. You can do it in your own handwriting once you sign up. And
is it sent directly to them via mail or via their email address?
Via mail. So it is still mail, so that we're actually getting a card. But, it's still got the envelope around it that's covered. We open up the card. And, if you do get it, let's say you're on the set, you can use a picture from the set and send it to the makeup artist and thank her, and send it to the director with you and the director, and, however you want to do it. If you're with the casting director, send something, a new picture, your new headshot, your resume inside. You can put all sorts of pictures on. You can design it however you want. It's just a JPEG or GIF, whatever you throw on the front, and it's super easy. Even I can do it. So it's, like I said, sendoutcards.com /30174. Once you sign up and you have a problem, there's people at my office to help, because I really believe this will really help actors get out there. And what I was saying before is when you have if an agent, here's my little trick, an agent doesn't open your picture, you're not sure. 3 days later, you send a greeting card with your picture on it. And maybe, you use one of the covers that they have that has your picture with you put your eye in there and you open it up, and then inside it shows your headshot. And you say, I was just peeking in to see if you got my 8x10 I sent you.
Now,
and
Stuart,
they're seeing your picture.
Stuart, I tell you, you would be. I don't think there's an amount of money that could buy your wisdom, but I do think for $375 one time per week for 4 weeks, I think they can get you 7 to 10 starting February 3rd. What do you think?
Yep, we do. That's a good idea. We do have a commercial workshop, and as always, my thing is, like I said, I do the career coaching, I do the consultations. We do that. I can do that on phone, over the web, over the internet, or in person, which I love doing because I love seeing these people go after their dream. We set up their goals, they're managed, we budget them, we do everything from budgeting. They can find that online. I try to budget them from $25 a month to a couple $100 a month, their career, their pictures. I'll help them pick their pictures, and even the other casting directors in my office, we all that I work with me, my theatrical people and the reality people and everyone that works with me, we all give our input, and we love when you drop in with your stuff after we've had that initial consultation. And I don't keep charging every time you come in like a career coach. We create that relationship and get you going, and we manage. You figure out how to time management, write your goals, write everything up, and like you said, I try to give out as much information as I can in that hour.
And what website can they find all of this? What website address is that?
That's actonset.com.
Actonset.com. And again, that's he has commercial workshops. He has an adult advanced class. He also has private career consultations. You can go to that website and you can look at all of the things that he offers. And there's so much we couldn't even get into it. I am very chagrined that I am not able to talk about my subjects, which is the overweight actor and people over 40. I left my questions for last, and I don't think we're going to be able to get to
I'm always willing to come back, but over 40, go for it. Overweight, go for it.
Yeah.
Just go for it. There's always a need for somebody somewhere. Overweight, just because, there's a grossly overweight and there's overweight, and just to set it straight because we don't have time and not sugarcoat it. Just you want to look at what the weight is out there of overweight and what works, and you can see where you stand against those people that are in advertising.
Right. Look at
and
the
over 40 always, because the 40-year-olds go older, and there's a shift in change. We always need new kids because the 4 and 5 years get older, just like the 40s and 50s get older.
So there's a market for overweight people. There's a market for people over 40, no matter what?
Yes, because your life changes, your look changes. Right. You go from dark hair to gray hair, salt and pepper, whatever.
Okay.
More wrinkles, more aged. You change. The young, hip, 18 to 20s, 20s to 30s. Everyone changes, and so there's always stuff out there for everybody, and that's what I love about it.
Mm-hmm. Now, question, real quick, I'm going to get this one in, whether they like it or not, and maybe this could possibly be a question that we can follow up and have you on if you'd be willing to come on another time, because I know there's no clear definition. It's so confusing to everyone. It's a question that has been asked by at least one person in just about every casting director workshop that I've been to, and I found that most casting people have a hard time answering it, so I don't know. I'm going to give it to you, but I don't know how you're going to do because most people don't know, but here we go. Is there anything that actors can do to find the clear definitions of the various titles, such as, of course, obviously people know what starring is, but then there's guest star, co-star, supporting, featured, etc. How do you know what to put on your resume that is the truth? Because there have been people who have put the wrong thing on their resume and they didn't know what the right thing is. So is it acceptable?
People put things on and they don't know that what they're putting on could damage their career.
Right.
There's certain terms that could damage their career because what they think they should have on their resume, and they don't know what to put on, and they think because I have nothing what to put on. And really it's a much longer conversation, and that's probably where a consultation would come in, or a career coaching, so we can design and build their resume for whatever they've done so that it hits the right thing, so that they don't misrepresent themselves. Because some people could have some good quality stuff and they're still listing terms that are putting them on the lower end of the scale, and they're not realizing that to a casting director means something different than what it might mean to their friends and family.
Right. That is something that I would highly recommend that you at least take Stuart's class for, because I was fascinated to find out, and I'm pretty in the loop with things, but I was fascinated to find out that featured, as Stuart told me the other day, featured casting directors look at that on your resume and they think immediately, or they know, not that I knew that it was, because I was told by a casting director to put featured. And Stuart, Stewart says that means that you're an extra. And I'm like, oh, hell no, I wasn't an extra. But that's what I was told.
Well, sometimes it does. Just depends how you're using it and what you did, but we have to be clear when you use what terms you're using so that people know. And terms have slightly changed with the different kinds of shows that are out there.
So you can talk about that in your upcoming, would you talk about that in your commercial class, or would that be more of the
we talk about it in the commercial class. Our thing is I try to give you the most information packed full. That's why I'm not timelined in classes, or I'll talk longer than an hour when you come in. My thing is I really want you to be well prepared. And if you're going to take the time out of your day and you're going to come in and talk to me, I'm going to take the time and tell you what you need to know. I'm not a sugarcoating person. I'm just very direct. I say how it is.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you're going to get from me. I don't have anything to hide. I have been in the business, believe it or not, longer than 12 years, but I know where the bodies are buried. That's one of my directors said.
Now,
where the bodies are buried.
Now, can I ask, if we plop down our $375, can you guarantee that there's going to be a hot stud guy, at least to look at, on our break?
No, I cannot do that.
It's just you, right?
Well, what if there's some guys that want some hot girls? Now, there's always hot girls in the class, too.
All right.
So I don't screen them. But there's always, whether the class or if you don't have $375, I always tell people, come in for a consultation. If you think I'm anything to look at, sit with me and get a ton of information, and then we can map out what classes you do need to take and where you need to go to.
Okay.
Maybe you don't need to spend $375, and that's my thing. I don't want your money unless you need to be there.
Stuart doesn't need money. He's rich. He's got a house.
No, I'm not. We're the casting director. We're not the actors with residuals.
All right. Stuart, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. I know how busy you are. I'm going to have to lock you in to promise to come on again, please.
Oh, I would love to come on.
I still have 3 more pages of questions we didn't get to, so I am going to beg you to come back on again. And next time I'm going to ask that you come into the studio so that I can look at you up front, up close and personal, and
I didn't want to cancel. I didn't want to cancel on you, and that's why I did it this way, because I'm you got to be your word in this business.
That's
and
right.
Thank you for doing it over the phone. I did have a really close friend's birthday party, and I had some work I had to get done and do some scouting for new faces, which I always love doing as well. So,
well, now that everybody's listened to you, they can check out your website, stonecasting.tv. They can also check out your website, actonset.com. And they can also check out sendoutcards.com/30174. And you can say you heard Stuart on the Question Reality Show. And then they get special nice treatment, right?
Of course, always.
Thank you, Stuart. I appreciate your time, and we're going to have you back.
Thank you so much. That was fun.
All right. Well, call me more often, honey.
I'll be in. You have me back anytime. I'm yours.
Thank you, sweetie. Have a good day.
Take care. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Do you need a website but don't think that you can afford one? Do you dread the thought of even doing the research to find a company that you can afford? Do you cringe because you know that the person you talk to will try to sell you more than the advertised price? At Design on a Dime websites, we pride ourselves in being able to design original, professional, efficient, creative, and extremely affordable websites. Your website design will load fast, be customized to fit your needs and vision, and be presented in a clear, concise, and easy-to-read format with user-friendly link navigation. We challenge you to find a company that has lower prices and better customer service with beautiful, original designs. So, gather some dimes together and call us today at 213-687-6903. Or visit us on the web at designonadime.us for your personal consultation with a very friendly representative who will be able to give you a great website that fits your budget.
The Horror Channel is your home for the best in horror entertainment, news, culture, lifestyle, and best of all, frights. We are available on Verizon Fios cable television. Go to channel 900, free on demand, and select pop culture. Scroll down and you'll find the Horror Channel. So be sure to visit horrorchannel.com for all of our latest programming.